So happy Sunday morning. We are about to get into this cooking. Right now I just have on a shirt and some pants and my chef's hat because all I'm doing right now is making my family breakfast and doing some prep. But when I get ready to get down and dirty, chef's jacket and apron will come on today because we got a lot of interesting things to cook today. And I wish this camera didn't make it look like I'm looking off somewhere. But yeah, got a lot to do today, so it's going to be fun. See you in a moment. Hey everyone, so it is a beautiful Sunday morning. Today is the octopus and lamb shoulder chops video, and we're also going to be making fresh pasta with our Emerald Pasta and Beyond machine for the first time. I'm using that instead of my Atlas roller machine, my Atlas 150, which you know is like very important in the pasta industry because this one can be cleaned with water. The other one takes a lot more cleaning and stuff to upkeep, so I don't use that one as often. But yeah, just look at this lovely brunch item for today. Cheesy egg. Was supposed to be an omelet, but my pan made it have to turn into more like an omelet scramble. Got a new pan on the way. Definitely need an egg Teflon pan. Some good old Italian sausage, fresh green onion, and caramelized onion and tomato on top. Enjoy. Okay, everyone, it is about to get, we are really about to get into it for the day. So, first thing we're going to do is put on the chef's jacket. This is when you know it's going to be like a serious cook day that I want everyone to take seriously. And it's a day that I'm proud of also when you see me pull this bad boy out. So, I'm going to get this on. I just finished cooking my family's breakfast and got that out the way. And now I'm going to show you some of the other things that are going to go in today's dish. And in a little while, once I'm done getting the vegetables and all the other items chopped, we're going to give our good old Emerald Pasta and Beyond machine a try. This is my first time using it, so we'll be trying this out for the first time together today. Alright, so first, good morning. How is everyone doing? Okay, so just going to show you what's going on here. Everything mise en place as best I can because, you know, I don't have the biggest kitchenware. Here's our passion fruit that's going to be part of our bread pudding I talked about last night. Here's our thyme, our rosemary. If I can grab this. Here is our Sicilian eggplant. Hold on 1 minute. I need to turn my lighting up. That's better. Alright, so still very shadowy in here today. I apologize. But here is that eggplant. Here are the mushrooms we're about to chop. They've already been cleaned. Here are some carrots also that we're going to clean and chop. And I'm using the stems to make my sauce for my octopus today. We've got our fish sauce, red cooking wine, balsamic vinegar. We've got our fresh green beans here. We've got some fresh onion here. Green onion, sorry. I want to be more clear than that for you guys. And I also have several other bags that I'm going to try to bring over just for you guys to see of other things we'll need today. We won't need the poblanos, but I keep things in one bag. It's easier to go in the fridge, but we have some fresh dill. And these are the carrot stalks. So all of this is going to be incorporated. Oh, and red onion, they're over there too. And lots of lemon, different types of tomatoes, and shallots. So I have a lot of chopping to do. And I'm going to take y'all on my chopping journey with me this morning. Put those things over there. Happy Sunday to everyone. I hope everyone is enjoying their Sunday so far. I'm going to try to set up things so I don't have to keep running around as much. But yes, because I can't put all this stuff up here at once, there will, of course, be some running around. We also have cilantro, parsley. It's going to be a lot of chopping right now. I'm going to go get a couple better knives. We're also going to need our tenderizer today. early on. We're going to use a pan to tenderize the octopus. We're going to need this to tenderize the lamb shoulder chops. They are soaking in buttermilk as we speak because buttermilk helps break down the fibers that make them extremely, extremely tough. So, the first thing I'm going to start with today is the mushrooms. And I always have a hard time deciding which blade do I want to use for mushrooms. So we'll use this one. You can do a rough chop on these because they are kind of just going to be part of our sauce. So, not a big deal. Actually, these are not going to be part of the sauce. That's incorrect. They're going to be part of the vegetables that go into that warm pasta salad that is going to be served with the octopus. So what I like to do also, because we're going to end up needing this bowl for another part of the meal, is when I have them, and I hope I'm not out, I like to grab baggies so I can just bag everything up and have it ready for use today when I'm ready to use it. So our mushrooms would be in a bag, and each step would just be in a bag to make it that much easier. I cannot wait until I'm able to get my other commercial grade tables. I have one in here because bending over and cooking low like this when you're chopping, it makes your back hurt. I had an epidural with just one of my kids, my youngest child, my 15 going on 16-year-old, and my back has never ever been the same since. I would love to play music, y'all, but the copyright police won't let me. But whenever I'm off camera from you guys, music is in fact playing. So just want to keep chopping, 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 chopping. You know, you're just going to chop up all of your vegetables. I'm not going to show you all of this because it's going to take a while. But what I am going to do is video like each vegetable that I chop and then just cut to something else. So I'm going to stop the video here and I'll be back once I'm ready to show you more of a different vegetable chops. So hopefully it makes the video not end up as long as some of my videos end up. So I'll be back in a bit. All right, got those mushrooms out the way. Now we're going to move on to green onion. I prefer this blade for that. It's easier, it's faster. A rough chop is fine. A fine chop is when you really want to make sure all of these are universally the same size. And you always want to try to do that. But when cooking here at home, you just get it in there. Alright? There's one bunch. You can save the little stems. I like to save them because they actually grow back. It sounds crazy, but they do. They grow. And that way you never run out of the vegetable that you need. Alright? We're going to do another cluster. If they're real crisp like they should be, you don't have to saw like this. But some of these are just not as crisp and easy to break to. Should they kind of soggy in texture is the best way I know to describe them. Alright. We're just going to do 2 of those for now. And if we decide that we need more of those, then we'll put more of those. So then what we're going to do is we're going to put these in here. Actually, we are going to need more. I just thought about what I'm using them for. So one batch of these is going to go in the sauce that I'm making for the last step of my octopus. And some of this is going to go into that spaghetti salad that the octopus is going to be served with. So you can actually keep them in bags like this too, and it helps you know how much to put in each thing that you're cooking. So that's the first bag. And here's one of the bags of the mushrooms I already chopped up. So I keep them on the shelf so I can reach for them when I need them. This time to speed things up, we're going to do 2 of these with one chop. We're just going to get them done. Because this is the ones that are going to go in that salad that we're talking about. Do not want my knife to hit the ground. All right. That should be enough of it for the salad. And get another bag so that we know that one bag is for one thing, one's for the other. And this also helps if you have like a sous chef or someone help you too. Sometimes I use my daughter as my sous chef. And this way she knows not to use both. Like we only need one bag per item of this. Alright. So I'll be right back in a sec with the next vegetable. Okay, so here's a few things. I have not chopped the tomatoes yet, and there's more tomatoes actually than what I laid here. But I do want to show you what mainly is on this cutting board because it's about to go in a pot to begin. Let me lower this for you. To begin our sauce for our octopus later. So we have cilantro and parsley. We have shallots and red onion. We have red sweet bell peppers. We have some Roma tomatoes, and we have some beef eater tomatoes. All right, so this is all going to get ready to go in, and it's going to go in with just a little water because the tomatoes and all these other vegetables make their own water, so you don't need a lot. And then just a little of the balsamic vinegar. And then as it gets closer to being reduced down enough to the point I want it, that's when I'll add some of the fish sauce and some of the red wine, cooking red wine, I'm sorry. So this is what we got. I'm going to get a picture of this too from my blog real quick. Oh, and we are also going to add bay leaves to this. So don't forget your bay leaves. Let me take mine out and put them on the board right now. Again, an example of mise en place. Just having your things right where you need them. Probably need about 3 of those. And then I'm going to move on to chopping up other things that I need for the lamb portion of our dinner. But right now, I'm going to get back to doing these tomatoes and get a picture of what we have here and move on. Okay, so we have the tomatoes. This is the last thing that's going to go in, and they are covered in black truffle salt. And so I'm going to get this going first, and then I want to show you how and what we're going to do with the lamb before we move on to other things. And I'm going to check and see if my octopus has thawed out any. It is in a nice tub of cold water. We're going to see if it's thawed out at all so we can get on with that. But actually, that can take its time thawing because it only needs about 45 minutes of its low simmer boil, and then it's going to be put on a grill. And we don't want to eat dinner this early, so we got plenty of time for that. But I'm going to come back and show you all the other stuff I still need to do in regard to my dragon fruit, my Sicilian eggplant, and we are going to get just a couple of sprigs of this rosemary to put into the sauce for this octopus. So that's going in along with the tomatoes. And I'm going to get the pot on, and once the pot's on, I'll let you see me getting everything in there. All right? Be back in a sec. All right, so we're going to turn this pan on. We're only going to turn it to about 4, okay? We're going to take a nice pour in of Mojo seasoning simply because it has citrus in it, which is something that I love to use whenever I'm doing a seafood. Next in, We've got the carrot stalks, which do also, we've got the carrot stalks, which also have flavor. We've got a few peels of lemon and all those other vegetables I showed you earlier. You're just going to pour them in once you get it all out of the bag. You want every bit of whatever's in this bag. Alright? And actually, I'm going to rinse this bag off because I can use it to chop and store some more vegetables that I made today. Get that bag is good clean with some nice hot water. Rinse it out. Alright. Lay it over here on my lovely rack to dry. Now, got your mojo seasoning in the bottom. You got all these lovely colors and flavors going on in here. You want to drizzle with a generous amount of olive oil. And keep your olive oil close just in case you decide you need more. Never know if you're going to need more. Salt just spilling everywhere. Supposed to throw that over your shoulder because it's bad luck, by the way. I'm going to put in some black truffle salt. You want to salt your veggies. Don't want bland food. And you can see the little pieces of truffle in there. It's made by Basil. Alright. We're also going to put in some of this Italian season blend. It's dried. Sprinkle some of that in there. Because the way I'm making my octopus, it is definitely more of an Italian seasoning kind of thing going on here. Alright. And I also add just a little Tajin, not much, because I'm going to need it for something else I'm cooking today. Tajin, in the bottom there. And sprinkle just a little of it, not much. Alright, and now what we're going to do is grab those tomatoes. So actually what's going in now are your tomatoes and your rosemary. And I'm going to try to do this without spilling any to the floor. Alright, get that all in there. Get all those fresh herbs and those veggies in there. Because this is what's going to make your sauce. You're going to let this cook down for a bit. And then you're going to come back to it. And you're going to add, let me move this out the way. Down some. You're going to come back over to it. And you're going to add a couple more things. I'm dropping stuff everywhere. So you're going to add these other things. You're going to end up adding tomato paste, 2 small cans, some paprika. I prefer smoked paprika, but they were out of it. We're actually going to add the celery seed now. I'm glad I remembered. And you're also going to add this muti tomato puree. But first, we want all of this to cook down before we add these other variables to it. The only thing you still want to add right now is, as stated, the celery. Your bay leaf is already in there. That's one of the first things I put in there. I put 3 nice size leaves in there. People cannot eat bay leaves, so try to look for them and dig them out before you serve your sauce. Alright? Just a little celery seed. Don't need a lot. Again, vegetables are going to create down water, which is why we're not adding any, especially tomatoes. So it's going to cook down beautifully. Just want to toss all this around for now. It smells lovely. And there's one last main lovely ingredient that's going to go in here now. I'm building the flavors of my sauce in steps, which is why the balsamic, you know what, we are going to put the balsamic in now. Balsamic and minced garlic in now. And then later on, once this has been on for a while, you're going to come back and add that red wine cooking vinegar. And you're also going to add just a few drops of fish sauce. All right. I love the taste of balsamic with tomatoes, so I'm kind of generous with mine, but do as much of a pour as you want. I probably did about 5 tablespoons right then, maybe a little less, maybe 4. All right. And then, oh, how important is the garlic? All right. That's probably the equivalent of half a cup of garlic. If you are not garlic heavy like I am, you can change that part up, but that's how I like mine. And we're just gonna mix this all in, and then we're gonna cover it and just leave it cooking on low for a while. Just get all this blended and seasoned beautifully. And I'm gonna get a pic of this real quick because it's so pretty. All right, be back in a minute. Okay, guys, just want to show you this real quick. What I'm doing is just chopping the sharp, painful ends off of your fresh green beans. You just want to chop those off like so. Just want to make sure y'all remember that step when making fresh green beans. And then just getting these done so they'll be all ready to go later when I'm ready to steam them to go with the lamb shoulder, which when I'm finished doing this and after I take a short little break, what we're going to do is come back and I'm going to take them out of the buttermilk that I put them in this morning. We're going to rinse that buttermilk off where we're going to begin to season, and we're going to slow cook them low and slow in my roaster so that they are tender, because they are a tough part of meat. And we're going to use our meat tenderizer hammer wherever I put it. I put it someplace early today, so I know where it was. Yep, got it. And so I'm going to come back and show you just how to tenderize your meat to make it easier for people to eat. And then we're also still going to cook it on low and slow though. So I'll be back in a bit. Okay guys, so I'm going to trim down the last of these vegetables real quick before I take a break, because I am tired and need to get off my feet for just a few, and then I will get back to the cooking. But in the meantime, I'm also going to put up items that I'm not going to use today. Okay, so right now what we're going to do, we have all these beautiful, I like to call them heirloom carrots. I don't even know if that's right, like how we call heirloom tomatoes, all the different colors. I've rinsed them off already, cleaned them off good. Some people swear by taking the skin off the carrots. You can if you want. I like to leave mine on. It, you know, I think if you're going to serve them more of at an al dente, where they're harder, you probably should take that membrane off. I usually cook mine just a little softer than that, so it doesn't really bother. And these are like really what we call young new tomatoes. Now you do want to just go down like this to get any extra, you know, membrane off. That is going to be a problem because it does have like strands of hair too. And so I like to just simply run down like this, to each their own. Everybody's method is different. Clean that off as you go. Just be careful. Don't cut your finger. My blade is extremely sharp. This is Japanese steel, so yeah, just be careful with that. Just run down the sides of your carrots like so. Get everything over here. And these will be the next vegetables that we use today. This mixture is primarily, the eggplant and carrots is primarily going to go with the lamb shoulder chops and the polenta. I made my own polenta last night and let it get hard overnight so I can cut it into discs and then fry it. So that should be real pretty on the plate when we're ready. And that's one last carrot. I like colorful plates, and so most of the dishes that I make for myself or for anyone else, you can bet on there being some color, usually, from me doing. All right? So we got all of this over here. Just going to try to move all this over here out of the way. All right? Next up, we have a Sicilian eggplant. very different than eggplant that most people used to seeing. I'll be honest, this is my first time seeing it myself. So you just want to take this heel off. It's white and it appears to not have nearly the amount of seeds the type of eggplant all of us here in America are used to dealing with. So I think I'm actually going to enjoy this a lot. Up there are the seeds. They're on this end. Still though, lovely. I'm not going to complain about that, you know, not a big deal. I like throwing the heels away, but if you have some use for your heels, hey, use them. I throw mine away. I'm going to try to get nice even disc here. I think I'm going to go this way though. I feel like it's easier. Yep, there we go. Just try to get them. So they're not going to be quite disc shaped, but it's going to be easier. Okay? Just going to put those all over here. And even though it is a different type of eggplant, I'm quite sure the process is the same. You're going to want to cover these in some salt generously and let them sit for, I like to let mine sit for a couple hours just to make sure you get most of the moisture out, so that when you fry them, they're not all like gushy and nasty. So I'm going to quickly grab a pan. Alright. And then we're just going to place these in here, spread them out. Showed you this the last time I cooked when I used eggplant. Eggplant is one of my favorite vegetables, so I'm pretty sure I've shown this to you before. Let me get my salt. I'm going to use the black truffle salt because the grains are bigger. And you're just going to sprinkle that on. Make sure you get some on all of it as best you can. Lay the remaining pieces in. My dog is at this back door acting crazy, y'all. Alright. And then we're just going to do the same thing. And we're just going to lay a paper towel over top of them and let them do them. So that's the eggplant for later. Oh, forgot one piece. So basically everything is pretty much set up and prepped and ready to go for later. And I'll be back in a bit after I take a short break. All right. Okay, everyone. So I'm back. I had to take a break. Feel better. Just stirring up my sauce here that's still simmering on low. That's going to be for the octopus. I really wish I could smell it. It smells like heaven. Haven't even added the other stuff to it yet. But boy, it smells good. All right. So, time for us to get this lamb going. Unless we're going to never eat today. Alright. So, lamb that has been soaking in lemon pepper and buttermilk. Alright. Now, going to use an onion, of course, for some flavor. Flavor is super important. We're also going to use a little chop. And let's see where I put it. Hopefully somewhere where I can reach it. And I'm going to take my pesto out, folks, because I almost forgot to put this pesto in the sauce for this octopus, which would have been bad, bad, bad. We are not ready for it yet, so no biggie, no foul. But yes, I'm so glad that I remembered. That's why it is so important to do mise en place, so you know where all your things are before you start, so you don't forget an important ingredient when cooking. Now I just messed that up myself. That would have been terrible. Alright, so got that open as best we could here. And we're also going to be using some of this today. Dale's steak seasoning, delicious on all meats and vegetables. We're going to use some truffle salt on it. You know what? I don't even have to cut up an onion. I forgot I already had some ready to go. So, see, nothing like saving yourself time. Time and energy. We're also just going to use a couple bay leaves. Alright. And while we're doing that, getting together some things that I need. Also to deal with my Emerald Juice and Beyond pasta maker here. Definitely need the measuring cup and the brush. So I'm going to set this out where it's easily reachable. That's the thing. You just want things to be where they're easily reachable as you need them. Our tenderizer for our lamb. And let me see what I did with the cutting list for the Emerald machine, because I have another mixer. I want to make sure that I know where all my discs are for everything. Okay, so that's interesting. Sorry guys, bear with me 1 second, if you would. Believe it or not, I'm trying to figure out where all my discs are. So I'm going to stop this real quick and I'll be right back. Hey loves, I am back. Got it all figured out. I put them inside of the machine, which is where they're actually supposed to be anyway. So that was good, but I couldn't remember that where they were. So we have everything we're going to need to use this. So just want to get it set up. Do not want it to fall. Like I said, I have the manual pasta making machine also. I have a mixer that came with several pasta making discs. We're going to give this one a use today. I'm just going to get it plugged in so that when I am ready to make pasta, we can get to that. But right now, we are concentrating on our lamb. And then we're going to get to this pasta maker. I don't want to make it way too early because I don't want my noodles to dry out. So no real hurry there. All right, let's get everything where we want it to go. Whoopsies. Set that there so that doesn't happen again. Gosh, it smells so good here. I really wish y'all could smell it. All right. So back to the star of the show currently, which is the lamb. All right. And we're going to use my roaster pot, like I said, for this. We're going to push our sleeves up because, boys, it's going to possibly get messy. Okay? So we're going to take these out. You are going to have to wash your cutting board. Definitely, definitely, definitely. Because you don't want to cross-contaminate. We'll move those babies out of the way. There's shit in here that I'm not even sure what the hell is. I guess it's tendons probably. Weird. Alright. Things that you definitely do not want to go in your pot of food. So gross, so yucky. I don't know how cooks could forget to wash their hands. It's such a dirty, nasty job, seriously. Gross. You want to throw this away. You cannot reuse this bag for anything. It is now trash. I need to wash my hands. Of course, after touching that, even though I'm about to touch it again, you just still need to wash them. Get my bowl that we're going to use. start transferring them into this as we pound them. I just never have enough space. It's ridiculous. I'm going to put the bowl here so it's easier to reach for. Alright. And then the cook's going to have a sip of beer because she needs it. These are going to be flavored with this. The items I already told you. I'm also going to use some fresh thyme, bay leaf, and rosemary. And I already have in the pan of the fresh carrot stalks. We're also going to use in this some fresh dill and some fennel. Alright, which reminds me of something else that I left out of my sauce. And put these here so I can grab that. So this is the seed that fennel grows from. This is star anise. And it's like a licorice aromatic. And I use it in my bread puddings, but I'm also going to toss just a couple of these into this sauce for this octopus because I kind of wanted that flavor in there also. So I'm going to toss those in and stir them around. And they're going to create a lovely aroma in there. But we are definitely also using these in the lamb. It belongs there. Alright? So I'll sit that right here. Hopefully it doesn't fall. Okay? Tenderizer. You just kind of want to start doing this to your meat. I don't know if you can see it. It makes the little dents. Again, it's going to be messy. But I just want to show you how we're doing it and how it leaves the meat looking so that you can see. See all those tiny impressions? And we're just going to continue this. And then we're going to put them in our pan. So I just wanted to show you that real quick. I'm not going to stay on here doing it because I kind of need to move it along. And plus this gets messy and I don't want it splattering my phone. But you get the point. They were soaked in buttermilk to help tenderize them too. It is great for milk in general. Is really great at tenderizing meat. You can elect to rinse this off, or you can elect to leave it in and help the milk build like a cream sauce. So it's up to you, whichever way you want to do it. But I'm going to get back to this so I can get these slow cooking immediately. And my octopus, I hope, will be thawed out by 4 so that we can get to it. All right, be back in a bit. Alright, I'm going to turn this water off. Of course, as you would assume, I had to clean my cutting board. So I've got that sterilizing and getting ready to go. For this, we want to use the root of the fennel. You can garnish the dish with the other fennel. Kind of makes the flavor palette match. I'm going to get on in here. Like so. And we definitely want to grab another bowl, a smaller one, because we need to rinse these out very well so we don't have dirt and grit in our food. And if you can smell it, it smells exactly like the star anise. So we're just building on the same flavor wheel. All right. I'll put these back because we're going to end up using it, like I said, the tops as a garnish once the lamb itself is actually done in a couple hours or so. Or once I'm ready to plate. I'm sure it'll be longer than that before I'm ready to plate, but you know what I mean. All right. So, the smell of this, I wish you could smell it. This fresh dill. Woo! The smell of this is pure heavenly. There's no other way to describe it. And I want to use a lot of that in this, on these lamb shoulder chops. Alright. I have the cutest little drawers over here that I keep produce in until I'm ready to put it back in the freezer. And I'm like, what is she putting stuff in? That's what I'm putting in. Cute little drawers that you can order off Amazon. They're like cloth cubbies, if you will. We clean as we go. Makes things easier for us all. All right, so I just wanted to show you that. And I will be back in a little bit. We are getting there to the point where soon we're just going to be letting things do their own thing as they cook, which is the amazing point we want to get to. We're going to start opening up other things that I know we'll need, getting them all together. And I'm also about to add some of the other items to our tomato sauce because it should be ready now. All right? Okay, everyone. I'm back in here in the main part of my kitchen, not the extension. You can see all that happening there. It's beautiful. And it is on to, we're going to turn it completely down to low now. Because now I'm about to get this lamb going first. And then we're going to add all the other ingredients to that sauce. First thing we want to do, like I said, is rinse this fennel and this dill off really well. Drain the dirt water as we go. Slosh it around, get all that dirt out. I'll open the lid for the toaster. And the first thing we're going to do, before we put those items in, is we're going to put in the tenderized, see all them little holes where I use my tenderizer? The tenderized lamb shoulder. It's laying on a bed. I already had a bed of carrot stalks in the bottom. So I'll spread these out. I have a fairly large roaster. I'm getting a super sized crock pot sometime in the next couple weeks too. Alright, put these in here. A couple overlap, no biggie, because we're going to cook it low and slow anyway. It's fine. Just move them around accordingly as they cook. We are, however, going to lift to season though. So I'm going to bring you over here with me. Alright. So you can see in there. Turn this water off. Clean it as I go so it gets a little noisy. Grabbing all our flavors here. We are not going to put the carrots in here at all. Instead, what we're doing with the carrots is, oh, and I need my onion. Hold on. There. All right. So in here, I keep forgetting everything. I'm sorry, guys. Yeesh. It's terrible, right? When you're just running around steadily forgetting stuff that you know you need. And I'm generally way better at organizationist. Again, mise en place. Very important fundamental of cooking, which I am failing miserably at today. These are some of my favorite flavors to use when I'm dealing with meats that are somewhat gamey, as I call it. You're going to put in some coriander. Yum. Some of this slap your mama seasoning, white pepper blend. Lift up, get the ones that were overlapped. You want to make sure you get seasoning on everything. All right. It's got a little kick to a little heat. So be sure you don't use too much of that. All right. Then we're going to use a little cardamom powder. Again, don't be overly generous with it, but get enough in there that you taste it. All right. I think we're going to lay off the cayenne pepper simply because the other stuff is pretty spicy. That's why you always need to taste things as you're using them. Because had I also used that, ooh, we might have been looking at a nightmare. Some allspice. All right. Definitely some black truffle salt. Gotta have some salt on here, right? Light on your lemon pepper, just a little bit there. Some of your chop. Eyeball it, but use your hand to sprinkle so you don't accidentally pour out too much, like so. And some of this dill seasoning, just a nice splash of it throughout, like so. I'm going to put some more aromatic in here. We're putting a lot of aromatics in this. Drop a few star anise in here. All right. Star anise. This is the star anise seeds. The fennel is what grows from the star anise itself. All right. Next thing we need. That fresh dill and that fennel. Just kind of want to hand strain it out. All the dirt will be in the bottom. You'll be able to see it at the bottom of your water there. Pour that out. We're going to wash that so we can do something else. Spread that fresh dill on top. Last thing we're going to put in here is our onion, green onion and white onion mix. Okay? Finally, we're going to take some rosemary and put it in there. Another aromatic. Just tear some off, drop it throughout. I also have dry rosemary here, but I want a fresher taste, so we are using some sprigs of that. And then we are just going to cut off a couple of sprigs of thyme in there too, just for more flavor. All right. And that's pretty much it. We're going to put the top back on. And we are now going to crank this to 300. All right. And I'll be back in a few to show you the next steps of the tomato sauce. Hello, my darlings. We are back. And it is time. First, let me show you this. Look at all that beautiful goodness. So what we're going to do right now is start adding the other ingredients to this that are going to make it delicious. All right. So let us grab a spoon. Got that lamb on, y'all. It's going to be so good. Ooh, ooh. You know, I'm like, where is my whisk now? I'm always losing something. There it is. All right. I'm not going to need that for this. But we got one more step to do to the bread pudding I started last night. So we can put that in the oven right now, too. And let it do what it does. All right. So, one whole jar of pesto. I was going to make fresh pesto, but I could not find pine nuts. So that is why we do not have pesto. Sorry. But that would be the reason. We don't have fresh pesto. I have other components of this recipe that we're doing today that I gotta make sure that stay within my visuals so I don't leave the steps out and be thoroughly aggravated with myself. It happens. Let me get a can opener. All right. So we have our can opener here, handy dandy can opener. Ooh. Can openers really tear my thumb up. I have bad joints in relation to my psoriasis, and my hands and my feet are really my only affected part, so I guess I'm luckier than some, but it's still really annoying. Like now, when I'm trying to do something. Okay. So, there we go. Get a spoon. Get your tomato paste in. So you already added your 1 jar of store-bought pesto. Fresh is always better, but like I said, I put some pine nuts. Maybe I didn't look hard enough in the store, just couldn't find them. So this is what we're working with. 1 small jar. If you have a larger jar, you only need 1 jar, but because I'm working with tiny jars, we are going to use 2. All right, 2 jars of this. Cans, not jars. And I'm literally going to leave this on low and slow all day unless I come to need this burner to really make sure all these flavors are super infused by the time we're really ready to serve plates. This is for the octopus. This lovely tomato rich sauce is for those guys. The larger pot, you see there, is what I would actually be doing them. You know what? I have to make this pot off when it's time for me to put my grill up here. My stovetop grill to grill off my octopus. We're a few steps from that though, so no worries. All right. Some of this multi tomato puree. Alright, that should be enough of that. We want to refrigerate the rest. And hopefully my refrigerator has space because, wow, it stays loaded. I'll tell y'all that. I think we're good. Got it in there. Hopefully no one opens it and makes it fall. Okay. And then last but not least, definitely not least, some paprika. Smoked paprika is better. They did not have any. Got what was available. Alright. That should be enough. You don't want to go too heavy because this is extra strength paprika and we don't want the paprika taste to overpower. We just want it as an additive, you know. And this thing, oh, for Lord's sake, get on there. Alright, got it. Throw things away as you go. Alright. And also rinse things off as you go. Alright, so now we're going to mix this all in very well. And I'm going to show you what it looks like once it's mixed before I cover it back up again. Remember, there's Mojo seasoning in here. And there's also actual lemon slices in here. Because it is a seafood item. So I wanted to give it some of that flavoring. And you can also squeeze some over the people's plates when you're serving, which is what I might do. We're going to see. For now, though, while we actually do still have use of this burner, we're going to cover it back up and continue to let it simmer on low. All right? All right. Oh, I still need a picture. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Okay. We are moving along. Now we're back to revisiting the bread that we let sit last night for the bread pudding. And remember, I told you we'd come back this morning and we do those last couple of steps, right? Watch your shells. Almost went in there. One of these days, I'm going to master that one-hand craft. I am not there. All right. And I think one more, just to be sure. These aren't the biggest eggs in the world, so if they were larger, you'd only need 2. They say large, but the way I'm used to seeing large eggs back home on the Eastern Shore of Maryland, those are not large. All right. Pour in a little bit more molasses. Remember, we already added some last night, but I want it to really, really have, you know, that taste. Just that delightful, delightful taste. Put your top on tight there. And lastly, just a little more sugar. Cover that back up. And literally just a very, very, very couple of drops of heavy cream. This is 40% heavy cream, okay? 40% heavy cream. All right, just like that. Make sure that's clean. Put that back away. I'm going to turn the oven on to let it preheat. Start there. And now what we're going to do is we're just going to beat our molasses and sugar mixture really, really well. And then we're going to end up pouring this in to your bread pudding. Whisk, 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 whisk away. Make sure it's all good there. I'm going to get a spoon because I think it'll help me get all of it out. A wooden spork, I call it. All right. So you just want to pour that all over. It's going to soak in as it cooks. Don't worry about that. It is going to get in there. The last of that molasses that always tries to stick to the bottom, no matter how much you whisk it. Just like this. You're going to cook this uncovered too, so all of that can reduce down and soak into that bread. And I actually am going to put a top on this for now. Because the next very important step that you'll want to do of this is we're about to cut up that dragon fruit and get it cooked to make our glaze that's going to go on top of this. The first thing we're going to need for that, of course, what do you think it is? Butter. So I've got my butter out, I got my Karo syrup out. I'm just going to move this to the side very quickly. Alright. I'm going to grab another bowl. And we're gonna just begin to get these ready for use. Make sure you take the labels off. Cut any overripe area off, although you really don't have to. God, it's beautiful. I gotta take a pic before I even show y'all. Like, this is gorgeous. Okay, so I'm back. Look at how pretty this is. It's gorgeous. I mean, it's just stunningly beautiful fruit. We're gonna take off this bruised area here because that's ugly, right? We don't want any ugly stuff in our dishes. So unfortunately, we had to butcher that guy. Okay? Sometimes you get a taste of, because I've never eaten this skin, so I've never like even tasted this. So I'm curious to see. No, that skin is definitely going to need to come off. But I would suggest saving it as garnish, because it is beautiful skin. I'm going to use a paring knife if I can find it. I just had it earlier this morning, because that's just way too big of a knife for this. You go tap your hand doing dumb stuff like that. That's weird. Oh, I know where I'm putting it. Crazy town. Alright. So yeah, let's go ahead and get this skin off. I am going to save some of it for garnishing though. Honestly, I think it will be beautiful as garnish. And this is going to be the quickest poach in history of this. Because it's already such a soft, delicate fruit. It doesn't have much taste though. It's very plain. So we are going to have to cook it enough to sugar it. To caramelize it, if you will. Time is of the essence. So let's just see if we can do this in a much faster method, hopefully without butchering this fruit too much. Keep your hand out of your way of your items like this, because they are still sharp. They may not look like they're dangerous, but they are. I learned firsthand. So just always keep things out of the way. So this is probably going to take me a while, so I'll be back once I'm ready to cook these. All right, so my first time dealing with dragon fruit. It is beautiful. It is very aesthetically pleasing. Hold on, I'm slanted. Very aesthetically pleasing, but very, very little taste. So we're gonna have to fix that. Sugar and butter and vanilla extract are about to be our friends. 1 cup, 2 cups. You might be like, that's a lot. It's gonna cook down also. And really, literally, there is no taste to these at all. And so we need to fix it. We got to give them the sweetness that you need for dessert. There's no way around it, folks. Okay? Get some of the sugar off here. Alright, put that in the trash. Alright, so now we're just going to grab a little vanilla extract. Now, this is going to be cooked with butter. And then near the end, we're also going to add Karo syrup. We just are not to that point yet. Remember, we cook in layers. We build our flavors as we go. So we aren't there yet to where we want all this in there yet. So gently toss them around in that sugar. Get them covered. Some of them are going to break up. That's okay. So just get it going. And I don't think that pan is big. I don't know what made me think that was going to work. So we'll use this one. Alright, so we're going to empty this lovely, sweet, crazy mixture into here. We are going to add just a little water and then reduce it down. not much though. Because this fruit is already so soft that quite honestly, I don't want it to become complete mush. So we're just gonna do this. It smells very, very good. All right. And actually, I'm not gonna start off with that idea of the water for now. The only thing I'm gonna put in here is butter and I guess just a little cream. Alright? Just a little cream. And we're going to cover this. We'll try to keep moisture in as much as we can. I'm going to bring you with me though so you can at least see what it looks like in the pan. Before I take my second break of the day. Now, needless to say, if I was cooking professionally, this stuff would have been prepped. And we literally would have just been putting things in the oven. But this is just me cooking in the privacy of my own home. So no, I did not prep. I do prep like that though for holidays. Most of the time anyway. When I can. Can't always do it. But you certainly try. Now, I'm going to put this only on 3. So that's a medium to low. Alright? Just like that. We're going to let it do what it does. I'm going to keep checking on it every few minutes or so. Because it doesn't need to cook long. So, there you have it. The bread pudding already went in. See the bread pudding? And if you're wondering, that trash is not trash. It's been sitting there for days. That's where I've been putting everything that you've seen me reaching and putting something in today. I clean as I cook. And then when I'm done, all of that I get removed. But anything that's meat or like really, really not cool to have around other things is at the back here by the back door in a big black trash bag. But the bread pudding's in. We're going to uncover it in a bit to let it kind of get a brown on the top. But everything's going. So we'll be back in a little while. Literally just had to show you how the dessert is coming along. So this is the bread pudding. Look at how all that sweetness is just getting soaked up by that vanilla brioche bread. And this is the dragon fruit just simmering in the molasses, the Karo, the 2 cups of sugar, the vanilla extract. Oh, this is going to be such a pretty and such a good dessert. And we're going to garnish it and our octopus dish today with some edible flowers. I'm excited. We just talk about how beautiful it is. Look at this fucking bread pudding. Ooh, it's going to be delicious. The toppings for it are finished. The only real things I got to do now for dinner are my pasta and my octopus. And they don't take that long, so we're just kind of chilling right now. But just look at that. Ooh-wee. Okay, everyone, I am back. I have my handy dandy notebook here because you and I are about to go on a journey together. This is my first time using my emerald pasta and beyond, but I watched some videos and made some notes. So hopefully I get some really, really, really good pasta out of this. Can hope for the best, right? So I'm going to lay my notes right there so I can glance down at them. And this thing is lopsided. We want it straight. That was kind of weird with it lopsided. Turn you a little more this way so you can see things. It smells heavenly in here. It's like a trip to the Mediterranean. I can't even explain how great it's beginning to smell in here. I'm doing this now because I'm going to do everything I can right up until the point of this octopus. So that when it's time to do that, we just rock and roll. being real delicate with it. I'm trying to help stretch it out some, but I don't want to overdo it because I don't want to tear my octopus. I think I'm going to add a little more salt to the water. Be careful with salt and octopus because it can either do you in or it can help you, but we do know salt breaks down ice. So I'm definitely going to try to put a little more in here because we need to open. It's the larger one that's giving me the green piece, also the one that was frozen the longest. So I guess that's to be expected, but definitely need this to like move along because yeah, it shouldn't be taking this long. I'm gonna pour this water out again. I kind of keep redoing this because the water gets cold because octopus has ice on it. So when it gets too cold, you want it like cool, but not cold like this because it can't thaw. It's just too cold. It's like drinking a glass of ice water. So we'll put some more room temperature water in. Throw these guys around here. Cover it back up with the lid. I cannot wait to get to that part. I'm gonna wash my hands from touching Mr. Octopus there. And we're gonna turn this lamb down now to 200. Let it finish real low and slow. Okay, so main things you need to know is what type of flour are we using. So normally you want to use 00 flour. These are things I knew before I bought this thing. All right. So this is semolina flour. This is Nature's Best. This says it's a product of Nigeria. Who knew? I did not know they use semolina. I learned something new today. Really cool. And then we have the Italian Caputo. What I'm going to do is I'm going to combine them because I think it's going to give me just what I want. I think it's going to give me somewhere in the middle of just the right texture. And I had my small bowl all ready to go. Here we go. Okay. Okay. So in reading the notes, first thing you want to do is open this. And we'll set it right here so we'll be able to get it. All right. So we put our disc on already. It comes with 8 types of discs. You choose the one that's the type that you'll need or whatever for what you're making. We want to put, because of what I'm making, the quantity of noodles I need, I'm going to make 2 cups of level flour. Now I'm going to tell you, I'm doing this because I wanted fresh pasta on the plates. I wanted you to see that. What I'm also going to tell you is that I actually also, so I'm going to do 1 cup of each type of the flours. I'm also going to tell you the following though, which is, and this machine runs on precision, so you can adjust the recipe, but try not to do it too much. So there's our 1 cup of the semolina. Because remember I said I'm going to mix the 2 together to get the type of noodles that I prefer. And then I lost my train of thought for what I was trying to tell you guys. Hopefully it comes back to me. Huh? Put this in. I like to keep my things sealed nice and tidy. Alright. Now we're going to do some of the Caputo 00 wheat flour. This is often referred to as chef's flour. Ooh. We lost some on the board, and that's fine because you're going to need it there anyway. Don't worry about that. Put that back in the same bag next to each other. They're buddies. They're rooming together. Pour that in there. Alright. Just like so. Okay. Literally, I am really going to smear that on there because we are going to need it. The next thing we're going to do is our wet ingredients. So let me come closer so you can see. If you're making just one serving, you don't want to go past that line. If you're making two, you don't want to go past here. So the first thing you do have to do is your egg mixture. All right. And you're going to need some salt. So you would use one egg if you were making one serving, which is about a pound of pasta. I'm going to use 2 eggs because I'm trying to make 2. You would also only use 1 cup of flour if you only make 1. My eggs are a little small, so I am actually going to grab 1. Actually, if you use a large egg, which is what a chef should always be using, and these say large, but they're lying to us. Trust me, it's a lie. It's all a lie. We found a good egg here. We need 1 more of these. Then 2 eggs would have been fine. Like a true, actual large egg. 2 would have been more than enough. All right, and I need to grab my whisk real quick. All right, whiskey, 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 whiskey. Not the drinking whiskey, although I could use some of that too. But whisk away. And you want to pour this in here. Try not to lose any of it. Now, if you'll notice, we are very close, like super close to that 2 watermark, to that mark right there. So now what we're literally going to do is just a dab of water. We went past it. So we got to pour a little bit of that off. A little more. And that should be perfect. Hate having to waste any of it, but if you want this to work right, you do have to follow the directions for this machine. It's kind of finicky. Alright? So, I'm going to stir it up good again just to make sure it's all stirred up well. Okay? And then, we still need a little salt. A little salt is now needed, and some olive oil. I keep losing my salt. It's ridiculous. Alright, got my spoons, got my salt, and got my olive oil. Okay, let's get to it. So you want to finish adding your dry ingredients first, okay? So we're just going to put in 1 teaspoon of salt. Okay. And then for the olive oil, 1 tablespoon. As you're going, if you feel like it needs more, I put in just a little extra, you can do that. The instructions do say, you know, like if you find that it's not mixing the way you need or would like, you can do little quick fixes like that. But don't try to deviate from this recipe too much or else it's going to be a mess. Okay? So we've got that. We did those steps. All right? Hopefully we have enough flour. I think we should. If I decide this is not enough pasta, needless to say, I'll be making more. So, on. And you're just going to start, the lady said it's best to kind of just go back and forth with it so that all of your pasta gets some of your wet mixture. We're going to just watch now and see if it's how we want it, and if not, we can make an adjustment, like she said. It has a timer on it. It's going to start to do what it wants to here shortly on summer. I'm going to give it just a little bit of water. And it's going to keep mixing that. It sounds like it's struggling. And like she said, if your machine starts to sound like it's struggling, remedy it. Sounds like we got a little struggle going on. Let's fix it. You don't want to mess up your machine. That might be plenty right there. I think that's actually plenty. I'm trying to make sure I get every bit of my flour, honey. So we're going to move this closer, because in a little while, hopefully, it's going to start to spit some of these out. Put a little flour down. I'll turn my water off while that's going. Got a few more minutes here of this, but it's a pretty cool machine. I can't complain about it at all so far. I usually make my pastas using my food processor, which is another way to do it, or your mixer. My mixer has a dough hook, but you just want to do it super quick. This is great. This is phenomenal so far. Why am I going to drink salt? Yeah. Been a day. My super size pressure cooker just got here. Start letting my family use the smaller one that I had, but I'm so happy that the bigger one got here. Okay. It took a little break on its own too. This is awesome, man. This is so cool. I have the smaller pressure cooker. I have this Emerald, and I'm not crazy about this pressure cooker, but the pasta maker so far is excellent. Let's see what kind of pasta it gives us. But right now, pretty happy so far. I might make a second batch if I really love this. We'll see. I won't show y'all on camera the second batch, but it'll happen. We are a minute away from hopefully some of it starting to extract. I'm not sure when it's gonna start putting some out. Hopefully here shortly. Just kind of watch it, wait and see how this works. I don't know. I'm just as confused as you guys are. Hopefully something's going to begin to come out of this thing soon. Just don't see it yet, but it sounds like something's happening. This is so weird. So I'm gonna turn this off because otherwise the video is gonna be long as hell and wait till. Okay, so a little lesson that I just learned that I should clue you guys in on. It's gonna seem like it stopped. It's actually pausing and going to restart. So that last batch of dough that I made, I still saved it because I can use it with my Atlas 150 pasta maker later on this week if we want some fresh pasta. But the machine itself would have problems with extruding or extracting, whichever term you want to use, that pasta at that thickness. So I had to do a quick little change up. Not a problem. So this is a new batch that I put in there. Get my board back ready again. Here with just a little semolina on it for when it does start spitting some out. But yeah, so just be aware of that. You'll think like, oh my God, it stopped like I just did. And you'll like mess with it and it gets confusing. I couldn't figure out how to get it to restart the process. So this neat thing will help us just cut them off at the length we want, even though I have another metal one too. But we're going to use the one that came with it today. So it's 14 minutes for a batch, one batch. It's 19 minutes if you're making a batch that's big enough for 2 servings. So that's what we're doing here. We're making the larger amounts. We are making the larger amounts. We're just gonna let it keep doing its thing there. I'm gonna put my eggs back in the fridge. Hopefully we don't need any more eggs today. But yeah, just so you can see, this is the first batch of pasta dough that it made. Actually not bad, it just wasn't gonna come through the thing, but I can use it later on this week myself. So no harm, no foul. I'm going to check my octopus real quick, which is behind this camera. See how we're coming along. We are finally getting somewhere, I think, here. Trying to help him open up a bit here. I definitely need it more thought out than this, but getting there, I guess. We're trying, anyway. But actually what we might do, since that's really only his head part and these tentacles are for the most part thawed out, we might go ahead and do us. Why did it stop? It should not have stopped. There we go. See? You're messing with it. I guess it knows what it's doing better than I. Oh man, here we go. I'm just gonna help them come out right here. Ooh la la, pasta. Ooh la la, pasta. This is awesome. Very nice. Very, very nice. Happy with this. First batch. Roll them around in your semolina flour so they don't stick together. Set those aside. I'm going to be making fresh ramen and all kinds of stuff with this thing. I'm too excited, but I am getting an even larger one for commercial purposes as soon as I can. That one won't be used here at home because that thing's going to be monster size. Unless I'm making a crap ton of pasta, we won't need that. Okay, mix it up again. Get some flour in there. Some really clean plastic bags to house these in because I don't want them to dry out before I'm ready to cook this octopus. So bear with it. Cutter time, definitely. Those were really long. Douse them around in your flour. These could almost be ramen. They're just the wrong kind of flour. I have the right kind of. For ramen noodles, you want to use rice flour, and the main ingredient in making ramen noodle pasta is either baked baking soda or cooking lye. Get my bunches together. I'm so happy with this. I actually wonder if I could have put the other batch back in here. I don't know. We'd have a lot more pasta if I do. I might try it. What's the worst that can happen, right? They start to dry really quickly, so that's why I said I've definitely got to get them covered up soon. I'm going to get a picture of this so I can start covering these up. Be back. Okay, so my thoughts on the Emerald Pasta Maker. The functions are good. However, and maybe it's just my mixture, so I'm going to take the blame on it myself. The pasta kind of started disintegrating before I got a chance to use it. So I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I might still use it today. I might just fry it with some breadcrumbs and make it a garnish, but we're going to use some box pasta, as it turns out, for the octopus. That is not what I had hoped, but you know, because my own fresh pasta I make by myself without a machine actually isn't bad. I just wanted the ability to make a skinnier noodle. So next time I'll be taking my Atlas 150 down off the shelf, or I'm going to do a few more practice runs with the Emerald machine. But I just can't keep running through my flour like that. So I practiced with it like 3 times today. And y'all saw it. It came out good. It looked good in the pics. But overall, it's just something that's still off about it. So we're gonna try and do better. You can't win all the time. But what you can do is learn from your mistake and do better on the next go round. So what we're gonna do right now is the following. And if you weren't paying attention, let me say it again. You saw how the machine worked. Overall, it worked well. But the texture and consistency of the noodles did not hold up. I need a hanging rack. I think it would have been better if I had a pasta hanging rack. So I need to get like 2 or 3 hanging racks so I can hang them. And I think they'll hold up better that way. But trying to keep them in the coils, even with the flour on them, just didn't turn out the way I wanted to. So I'm going to go back to the box pasta. But I am still going to use that because waste not, want not. And I'm not sure if this is something I can do. But I'm actually going to try to use the dough because I have 2 balls of dough now from it as well. So we're just going to see what happens. But first and foremost, it is finally time to deal with the star of the show. Mr. Octopus. This is a big one. There's 2 of them in here. So the first one, we're going to take him out. You want to take the head off. I have my blade, my knife, and this knife ready to go. Hope y'all aren't squeamish. But yeah, we're going to take off Mr. Octopus's head. We're just going to take all of this off. And we are going to throw it away. Alright? Let me get near my trash bag here. Needless to say, this trash will be going out this evening. Look underneath. Alright? So, everybody does this different, but really, I think, you know, for my intents and purposes, what is going to be served to people is the tentacles. You also want to cut off these little skinny pieces. They also go in the trash. Okay? They go in the trash, folks. Alright. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this bad boy back over so you can see. Well, so I can see exactly where the tentacles are because I want to keep them as pretty as I can. And I'm just going to cut up, all the way up on each section till I get as far as I can go with each tentacle. Everybody has a different method. This is how I choose to do mine. But no matter what, take the head off. No one's eating that. All right? So we have 1 tentacle, and we are going to chop these down smaller, but right now I'm just doing the part of separating them. The job of separating them, all right? 2. These are not regular scissors. These are culinary scissors. So, I mean, I don't think you want to do this with your regular scissors. So that's why I have to mention that, because there's going to be somebody looking who's like, oh, I think I can do it more. Don't do this with your regular scissors, please, people. Alright. Got 1 more octopus in this pot that we're about to do the same thing to. If you can get past the idea that you are eating octopus, this is some of the most delicious meat you will ever taste in your life. I fell in love with it. I had it at a restaurant here in Atlanta. I guess it was like 5 years ago. And I was like, oh, it's just so good. It's delicious. I don't even know how to describe it to y'all. It's really good stuff. Alright. So that's our first friend. I'm going to move this emerald machine because it is actually in my way at this point. Emerald, you were a good child. I give it an 8 out of 10 so far. I gotta get more acquainted with it. That's nothing against Emerald. That's my bad and me just needing to learn the learning curve on it. Where are my paper towels? Because a lot of water. I'm always losing something. No worries. We'll just grab a new roll. excess moisture off. Okay. Second one, same thing. A lot smaller than that first one. You want to go like this and try to get most of that water off. I'm going to move my beer from, I'm drinking Octopus water, which is pretty gross. Alright. Same thing. Work as easily as it did on the other one. There we go. And throw the head away again. Alright. So we've thrown the head away. And now it's time to separate the legs, just like we did with the first one. The process here is, I do it with the cork in, like I was taught. Process here is to put cork in some water with some balsamic vinegar, a little cooking wine, season it, put your garlic, whatever else you like in there, and you are going to bring it up to high first. I have my water on now, trying to get it to a boiling temperature. You are also going to need a spider or some type of strainer to keep bringing it in and out of the water, or a very large set of tongs. The first thing we're going to do, and it's going to be messy as hell and I'm not looking forward to it, is we're going to try to tenderize this thing. We're going to beat the hell out of it first. Alright? So, again, we're going to get up all this water, because woo, it's a lot of water. And it's just going to start splishity splashing everywhere. Pour this out and clean it. Or use it with something else. We're just waiting on some water to boil here. Alright. On these, I actually forgot to do the other step, which is cut. We want to cut these ends off of these tentacles. So just look, go back, find the ones that had them little skinny ends on, get them off. You don't serve those. I suppose you could, but for looks, you kind of want to take them off, because they're just going to be, they're really going to be tough. So you just get rid of them. If you are a squeamish cook, this ain't for you. This ain't your wheelhouse, and that's fine. Luckily, I'm not. Okay, I got them all. Just double checking to make sure I got all those little, nope, there's one right there. Okay. Now, throw this away. Yuck, right? Looks gross, but this one tastes good. Still waiting on water to boil, so that's good. I'm gonna stop this video and come back. Okay. So, we gotta do some pounding. It's gonna be loud. It's gonna make a mess. The mess is what I'm not looking for. I don't really care so much about the noise. But boy, is it gonna be loud. You wanna beat the shit out of your octopus. And each time I beat and bang on a piece, I'm going to move it to here, which now I need space for. Okay, let's do this. This is a good example of when your kitchen won't let you be as great as you're trying to be, because it's tiny as hell. Alright. Put my scissors up for a sec. This we don't need. Okay. Next one. Two. weight in it as best you can. You act like it's alive, but it's dead. It's just jumping around from the force. All right. Again. They say frozen octopus is already more tender because throwing it out and using it has broken it down. We'll find out today. Alright. Octopus is one of those things where you don't want to undercook it because it'll be tough. And you also don't want to overcook it because it'll be tough. I'm getting through it. I know my neighbors are like, what in the actual hell? I thought we knew. It's just me up here cooking some meat. Now, I'm going to chop these down once we grill them. Well, actually, once they're done, this process before you go on the grill, chop down into smaller pieces that are easy for people to manage and eat. Alright, we are getting there. I cooked 2 extremely tough, rugged meats today. That lamb shoulder is also tough as hell. And I tenderized this morning too, but it didn't take as much force as this does. This takes real force. Alright, we're almost done, folks. We are almost done. Last time I did some octopus was like 2 years ago, and I grilled, whoa, almost lost them. And I grilled without doing like all the proper steps for tenderizing and how you're really supposed to do it. So yeah, that's tough. So today, we should be knocking it out of the park because these should be done correctly. Everything should be good. Although I thought I was knocking that pasta out the park, but it won that battle. So you just never know. You hope for the best. Hoping this goes very, very well though. Last piece so I can stop banging. Alright. We are now going to clean up this mess. I'm sure my neighbors absolutely positively hate me right now. Sorry guys. Alright. I'm just gonna clean things up and keep it moving. I'll be back in a bit. Pause. Alright guys, so it is time to get this going in the water. So I've already added some salt. I've already added some olive oil. I am also going to add some garlic to the water. A little red wine to water. I need to get some more of that. I bought that for my braised short ribs. That didn't happen. Vinegar to the water. Alright. One second. Bear with me. I'm not going to put a whole lot of salt because it's going to end up being grilled, and we'll throw a little salt on it then if we want to. So what we are going to definitely put here is 2 octopus. So on the air of caution, I'm going to throw in 2 corks. Actual corks. You can get them on Amazon and pack. Alright? So my corks are in. And now, I'm going to drop them in. Now, they're going on a high boil. But then we're going to lower this low down. And we're going to cook them for about 30 minutes. Very, very, very low temperature. But first we're going to raise them up for a second from this. Alright, so we're just loading these in nice and slow. I feel like a little old lady with this bonnet on. Nice and slow, in they go. And before you put them on the griddle, this is also a very important step. They need to come back room temperature before you put them on the griddle, or else they'll get tough. And what the heck did I just do with my lid? Oh, there it is. So remember that. Remember, don't just take them straight out of this water and then take them straight to the heat of a griddle. It'll ruin them. Don't do it. Alright, so we're just letting that go for a little bit. I'm going to move this before my pasta noodles end up in the floor, which will not make me happy, especially since these are my workaround pasta noodles. Life is crazy. I could have sworn I bought another pack of pasta yesterday or the day before. I can never find stuff, y'all. It's crazy. It's very strange. Thought I bought them, but maybe I did not. This should be, hopefully that's enough. But just in case it's not, we're going to do some, as I call it, ghetto rig today. And we're also going to put some of these in here. I hate doing that because we're going to have 2 different sizes and textures of noodles. But I want to make sure there's enough pasta, so we're going to go for it. I'm not sure. I really thought I had another bag, but I don't. Another box. But I do not. So I'm going to do a little mix and match today. I can't believe that's how it's going. Today has been a crazy day. But as long as this food tastes good, I guess that's what matters, huh? At the end of the day. I have eggplant and carrots broiling in the oven. And now I actually need to take it down to low because I need to stir them. So I'll be back in a bit. Oh, actually it's been that 30 seconds. So let me show you how to do this real quick. I have a really, really, really nice big spider here. And see, if you raise them up, look how red they're getting already. Look how gorgeous that is. Look at them. Look how beautiful they are. So, they look done right by color, but trust me, they're not yet. They'd be tough. Alright, so I'll be back in a few. Tell y'all, today has been a not so great kitchen day. Just little things one after another, but we're gonna keep it moving. You win some, you lose some, but we're still working, and hopefully everything is going to be delicious. Really mad that I won that battle with the pasta maker. It's not with the pasta maker, because the pasta maker itself wasn't a problem. Oh, by the way, some of these got cut wrong, so we're just frying them and putting them together. I originally started with circle cut, and then when I saw that I couldn't get them out, I went to a square cut. So some of them are like half pieces, like a puzzle. But we're going to fry them the way they are and flip them. And then the main three that I'm going to show you for plating are, of course, together as they should be. This is polenta. For those who don't know what that is, it's like grits, only you make it with cornmeal. And on these, I've got some black truffle salt, some paprika, and and some freeze-dried basil. Once I'm done with this, by then, let the octopus cool down, because as I explained earlier, you don't want to take it like straight from the water to the grill, so we have to let it cool off a little, and then we're going to go ahead and grill that. But I just wanted to show you these, and I'll be back in a few when it's time to do that. And I'm also going to deep fry that spaghetti that I can't figure out what else to do with. So we'll see what I end up doing with it, but waste not wanting it. But yeah, we're getting to dinner about 2 hours later than I expected. The octopus just took forever to thaw out. Then the spaghetti, it was just a wild day. But yeah, if this had been a professional gig, I'd have been screwed. So I'm glad it wasn't. But again, with a professional gig, I'd have done my prepping yesterday. And then just had to put things in the oven to do their cooking process, but all the assembling would have been done yesterday. So note to self, maybe I should do that at home too. But at any rate, be back in a bit. Sorry guys, I almost got to bring y'all back in. I was in my zone. But you see, I got them on my griddler. Try to stay away from where the stuff can leak down and start a fire. That's a good way to actually start a fire, so you try not to do that. Just kind of pressing them down. I already seared one side of it. I'm going to do one more flip on these. Don't want to cook them to death. But you do want to make sure, you know, that they're getting tender. This is cast iron, so it's very hot and very heavy. Hate moving this thing. Mash them again. Just want to show you this batch. I'm going to go ahead and finish those last few legs after this. And then I'm going to make some plates, so y'all can actually see what I did accomplish today. Like I said, today's been a funky ass day, cooking-wise for me. That pop, boy. Yeah? Alright. Like I said, you don't want to burn them and scorch them, but you do want to try to get them even more tender than they were, if you can. Pretty. And I put a little Sazon seasoning on these. If you're wondering why they're kind of like an orangish red or whatever. So I'm going to go ahead now and keep handling this, but I just wanted y'all to see what I'm doing. Alright y'all, it has been a super exhausting day, but let me show you the grilled octopus. And now, because tomato also breaks things down even more and makes them even more tender, we doing that sauce. It's time for the sauce. Look at that. Ooh-wee. You see how pretty this is once I plate it. They look kind of buried down, right? You're like, damn, I can't even see the octopus, but you will. Just get as much of that in there as you can. All right. Make sure things do not fall on the floor. Space is so limited, people. Uh-oh. About to lose all my dill that I had cut for garnishing. Thank goodness it did not fall to the floor. I would have cried. Just about lost it though. Forgot I had it sitting like that. Okay. So we're gonna grab our 2 plates. All right, we got 2 very distinctive meals going on here. And I'm gonna get ready to plate them. And in the interest of time, I will be back once I have those plated because it's gonna take me a while walking back and forth, so I'll be right back. Guys, here's the 2 plated plates. We have that nice warm bed, well, it's a little cooler now actually, which worked out, of the spaghetti pasta, which has mushrooms, green onion, and grated fresh Parmesan in it. Here you can see the octopus straight up. Store-bought burrata, which I then soaked in olive oil and put Italian seasoning on. And I also put some extra sauce over here for dipping of the octopus in, and it's garnished with fresh dill and actual edible marigold flowers. Over here, we have the lamb shoulder laying in a bed of its own au jus, served with fried homemade polenta cakes and steamed fresh green beans, and topped with caramelized onion and mushrooms. And right here, you'll see what I did with those heirloom carrots and the Sicilian eggplant and some breadcrumbs. Also garnished with marigold and fresh dill. Now that is how you do Sunday dinner. Hopefully someone will want dessert later and I'll get to plate that as well. Yum.